curb your enthusiasm a little bit. If you don't need to be super aggressive tier size tomorrow, scale down, okay?
Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody had a day of positivity, not only in trading, in your life, in your personal life, in your family life, and hopefully everything continues to be a blessing. God's spirits, especially in health and happiness. So let's talk about the tape. What we discussed on the weekend update, I think it's going to pretty much play out for the rest of the summer. I think it's pretty understood there. If you look at the scoreboard today, the Dow down 100, you had the NASDAQ up 24 points. And what we're looking at now, in my opinion, my humble opinion, until towards the end of the year, is not necessarily a slow market. In my opinion, you're just going to have a very specialized and very stock-specific sort of session every single day. And some days, it's going to be very, very aggressive with beta names, you know, the stocks that we trade, the Facebooks of the world, and Apples and Teslas and all, so forth and so on. But you're still going to see a lot of names that are going to be, and it feels like they're resting, but they're actually not. They're just simply buying time until I think a lot of people come back from Labor Day, right? The Labor Day, the kind of like the last hurrah of summer. And I think we'll start to see a true market. So for every move today, and again, there's some really, really big movers today. Again, mRNA is just completely out of its mind. I think that's the best way of saying it. You know, it's going ballistic. You saw ridiculous call buying coming in for the 500 weeklies, $1.4 million worth of premium there. You're getting the meme names kind of cropping back up, right? GameStop closed well. AMC, after the close, said they lost less money than they should have lost, right? It's like you know, it's like you having a $10,000 losing trade, but hey, thank God it wasn't 20, right? So this thing is moving up a little bit pre-market as well. But when you look at the overall market, it's really it's almost screaming at you that there's kind of lack of interest in a lot of names. So for every Moderna that people are chasing and some meme stocks and all that stuff, you have a bunch of names that are just kind of sitting there, right? The Apples of the world is sitting there. The Facebooks of the world is sitting there. Netflix is doing absolutely nothing. NVIDIA, you know, it's kind of just sitting there. You have Tesla, despite an upgrade today at an $850 price tag. Again, I'm still, you know, very optimistic that this thing will maybe wake up in the next couple of days and start attacking its channel. But for now, even with a pretty aggressive upgrade today, they're sitting. You have names like Microsoft doing absolutely, you know, really absolutely nothing. Alibaba and the rest of the Chinese names, you go up 10, you go down 10, but more chances than not, they're doing absolutely nothing. Sure, look, is there individual names like I started kind of this broadcast with that are doing very, very well? Sure. You have Coin that is going on GameStop, right? On Bitcoin, right? It's doing really, really well. You have names like RBLX that we talked about over the weekend update doing very, very well. You have a lot of names that are kind of from the alternative point of view that normally we kind of wouldn't watch, right? But these are things that are working right now. And again, the most important part, like I say every single day, you're trying to get as much information, you're trying to get as much research as possible, so you're trying to find the next alternative name. I don't think Amazon will be in play tomorrow. I don't think NVIDIA will be in play, or Roku, right? I don't think these names will be in play. So we have to start looking at names that are getting aggressive option flow, maybe have been in a consolidation channel for, you know, the last couple of weeks that haven't done anything, and maybe they're starting to wake up. And probably more chances than not, it's not going to be in names that we're looking at every single day. So when you look at the indexes, again, nothing materialistically is going to happen between now and Labor Day. Qs are pretty much flat, grinding higher. SPYs are pretty much flat, grinding higher. The diamonds as well, kind of flat, grinding higher. So if you're looking for guidance off the indexes. And you know, it's still pretty comical that if you go on CNBC at any random time, you'll hear today that the market was down today. The market was not down. The market hasn't been down in a very long time. Don't confuse the index is lower from the market is down. Stocks don't go up like Moderna 80 points in a day just because the market is down. Don't be, it's cool for water cooler talk, but this is more for the Fed individual investor who literally, buys 100 shares every 9 months and kind of looks at their Charles Schwab accounts, every semi-annual statement. So I think that juncture of the market should be put aside. I do think there's still headlines out there that are giving a pretty good catalyst. Like, for example, this whole infrastructure bill, and they're trying to include a whole bunch of things. You're hearing about the EV, right? The EV game on the infrastructure. How much is going to be allocated to this bill? And again, a name like Blink, I usually wouldn't look at, right? This is something that probably doesn't interest me. But now I'm looking at it and say, the stock has gotten rejected 3 times off the 50-day moving average. We saw what happens every single time the 50 gets confirmed. Just look at the May 20 highs on the QQQs. When the overall market or any overall individual stock reclaims a major moving average, like the 50-day moving average, usually good things are going to happen. So is this a name I would probably watch on a day? No, it wouldn't. But again, beggars can't be choosers. When Amazon's dead and Nvidia is dead and Facebook is dead and Zoom is dead and Tesla's kind of strong, kind of weak, blah, 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 you have to look at these alternative names. And this thing looks good, right? Again, I don't know if it's going to go tomorrow. Maybe it doesn't go at all. Who the hell knows? But at least it's something that we're prepared for. And if we do have another idle market for the next couple of days, especially in the beta space, hey, this is something that we could watch. We see how much potential it has. And again, maybe the 4th time is the charge. Look at a name like QS. Again, another name that I wouldn't usually look at, but look at the expanding volume, right? You have the expanding volume coming out. It's coming on the bottom channel here. It got rejected off the Bollinger Band. Hey, if this thing reclaims the Bollinger, why can't this thing run to the 50-day moving average? Even a name like Sava that has been a big runner, right? Like a really, really big runner. And you can see just from the start of the start of the summer, it's gone from 31 all the way up to 146. It's starting to wake up again. So if these things are kind of correlated to the Modernas of the world or the BNTXs of the world, why can't Sava potentially take out a 60-minute channel? Like, look how tight the 60-minute channel is.Maybe this thing wakes up and starts going into the 111, 112 area. And speaking of Moderna, right? Is this thing a magnet to 500 for tomorrow? Any washout on this thing has to be at least entertained for a buy, right? Any wash into the 60-minute rising support needs to be at least watched, because if this thing goes green and starts taking out today's price action, you could see a 500 print tomorrow at any part of the day. Now, again, is this something for newer traders? Probably not, right? Again, I think everybody needs to understand the difference between gambling and risk-defying, risk-defying trades. But again, with or without you, with or without me, this thing is either going to go to 500 or it's not. But I think, you start looking at stocks that are very, very tight in channels. Like, look at Dell Computer. Again, not a name that you usually probably would hear me speak about, but look how tight it's getting, right? Look how tight this channel is. It's just sitting here bumping up against the 50-day moving average. And today, I just found this thing purely by accident today, but any reclaim off the 50-day moving average maybe finally gets this thing going as well. So I think we have to kind of step out of our comfort zone, at least for tomorrow, right? I can't see a scenario play out tomorrow that we're looking at beta and say, wow, this looks like a really, really big premium session. At one point today, we did see a lot of really good aggressive call buying on the 290 and the 300 weeklies. Maybe something to do with their exposure and kind of hoarding Bitcoin. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So I am watching this thing for tomorrow. It looked a lot better than it did on the close. Like, this thing literally sold off $4 into the close. It would have been a lot better if it closed near the high. So again, we have to do our job doing our research and kind of putting ourselves in a position that we could identify value. Now, is tomorrow going to be, oh my God, when I started doing charting today, I had 20 setups, right? At the end of the day, I had like 6. Okay, so there's a big difference between what charts do in the morning and what they close in the afternoon, and how they react towards the end of the session, and it kind of formulates your opinion for tomorrow's session. So again, if you're a brand new trader, and I always say this again, understand your landscape. Understand what kind of day potentially could be. Now again, I don't know what random $2 stock might go from 2 to 20 tomorrow. That's not the pool I swim in. That's not really my thing. My thing is technology. The Apples of the world, the Microsofts of the world, Facebook and Zoom and Tesla. Although Tesla kind of sort of looks like it wants to go, it's not really giving you a lot of really good aggressive nature to show you that it wants to really aggressively come out of the channel. So it's one of those wait and see areas. So, what you should do is definitely curb your enthusiasm a little bit. If you don't need to be super aggressive tier size tomorrow, scale down, okay? Again, our biggest objective every single day is kind of staying in business, and staying in business with good defined trades is the number one resource. That's it. That's our number one job, and that's the most important thing we need to do every single day. Can something surprise me tomorrow and just get upgraded and just absolutely explode out? Everything's possible, right? Everything's on the table. The market is still running on fumes. But again, I don't expect it to be one of those home run, oh my God, look what's about to happen type of days. Certain times you see me record a video and I'm like, hey, listen, you don't need to overthink it, right? Don't be creative. It's beta. Tomorrow's not one of those days. And so we do have to be super selective tomorrow. We do have to rely on the research. And hey, if one of these stocks just randomly wakes up and we can get something, out of the ordinary, maybe from the options activity, whatever the case, maybe we get a nice little surprise. If not, tear down your expectations, definitely tear down your size, trade for cash flow. And if you see something good, again, trust the process to make you whole. So let's talk about today's pivots. Again, you're not going to have 500 pivots, right? It's just not in this environment, right? You're still going to have some names that you can scalp. You're still going to have some names that you can do well with, but it's not going to be those $10, $12 candles that you turn around and say, wow, this was so great. So let's talk about today's action. MU, we talked about it last night on the weekend update. MU 83 needs to build. It got nowhere near 83. 148 on Splunk needs to build. Got nowhere near 148. UPST 140 needs to build. It literally got to 140 and just died on the vine. Did absolutely nothing. Goldman Sachs was good, right? Goldman Sachs was good. We saw right from the word go, you saw 405 weekly call buyers come in, 399, 400 needs to build. Here was Goldman Sachs, right? We talked about it briefly on the weekend update. It took out the 399, $400 area, went to 404.60. So all those 405 call buyers are, well, I'm sure pretty much to say they're pretty happy. So nice move on that. JP Morgan never confirmed the 58 area, got to like 58.05, whatever it was, and just died out. Again, remember, it needs to put in a validated base above that channel to go. Snow, we discussed this on the weekend video, 279 rejected 3 times. Again, this is my point of kind of looking at alternative names. 279 rejected 3 times, needs to build. Here was Snow. Right, here was Snow. It took out the once, twice, 3 times later. It took out the 279, went to 282. Nice, again, nice little pop there. Nothing crazy, but nice little pop there. Tesla, again, upgraded today. This was, again, a little disappointing, but Tesla upgraded by Jefferies. It's not a macro trade, so treat this for cash flow only, then stand by for bigger levels. 712 for experienced traders needs to build. Remember, Friday is rejection, 716, 717, 3 times to use that as a reference. Again, Tesla went up, what, $4 or $5, right? Not a big move, choppy as hell. There wasn't a lot of, really wasn't a lot of correlation there. It took out this whole channel here, popped up, a couple of points and came back in, popped up again, came back in. Again, nothing crazy. If you did all right with it, God bless. This wasn't anything crazy. Again, let the day develop. Remember, you don't need to trade every single day. We continue to wait for value and confirmation. Do not guess. That's the whole point. Do not guess. It's so easy to get complacent when your market is not being highlighted. It's so easy. It's so easy to get distracted and you start trading random things and you get bullied out of your positions very, very quickly because, again, you don't know what to expect of them. You don't have a relationship with them. TTD 8680, 87 needs to build. Never got there. Reported earnings. IBM 145 rejected 3 times. Again, never got there. We talked about Snow, take on the way up, 285 next stop, went to 282 and change. Letter U, I scalped this thing. Again, really wasn't a big push. 112 needs to build. We actually caught it off that 1180 double tap. You know, we're up like 50, 60 cents. Nothing. Small flow there. GS 405 weekly call buyers, nice move there. And Blink, I like this Blink for tomorrow, especially if it starts building off that 37. So right now we have to think for value. You cannot think for quantity, only value to be expected. Take cash flow, trade smaller just until we get kind of a good setting of what happens when everybody comes back after Labor Day. So again, continue to be long bias. Again, always use the back of your head for, at any given point, anything that's overextended could get washed. So be careful and stay away from those. And that's it, folks. Have a nice, orderly, blessed trading day. Hopefully we'll get a lot of good value. If not, again, guess what? The next day is always one day away. Guys, God bless. I'll see you all tomorrow.